Catering to the lyrics is when your artist says, yeah, I drive a Lambo. And then you literally at the same time they say that, you show them driving a Lambo. Number one mistake a music video director can make. A video that I'm most proud of.
I don't want to hear about this. Hold on. Two things.
All right,
Here we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, I'm back.
Yo, what's going on, Indie Mogul? My name is Ted, and today I'm here with my buddy Justin Jones, who's an amazing cinematographer that shot music videos for people like Diplo, Tyga, G-Eazy. He was also the head of production over at Create Music Group, which reps people like Marshmello, Porter Robinson, The Migos. As somebody that has seen like a million music videos, that has been a part of a lot of music videos, what are the 5 biggest mistakes that music video directors make when they're just starting out? But also walk through what does it actually take to make a great music video. In addition to that, I actually want to walk through and watch a couple of the most famous music videos out there and hear from a music video director's input what actually separates them and what is he seeing that we're not seeing as well. Ready to do this?
Let's get it.
Let's do this.
All right.
So like what are really like the main kind of categories of music videos that you see coming out these days?
So definitely the narrative. The narrative is the number one, I think, what everyone tries to go for. The next one would be performance. Started off with like live videos and then went into like, oh, how can we record this music video to show the artist? Having a visual that somebody knows rather than just hearing somebody really adds to their brand. The person actually playing it and singing the song. So next I would say would be experimental, right? The artist doesn't have to be in it at all. It could be animation, it could be imagery put together to convey an emotion, but it doesn't necessarily have to make sense, but it has to have a creative concept behind it. It's like in any film, right? You're setting up the world, and as long as people get the rules that you show them, then you can do whatever you want.
So this could be more just like visual montage stuff. Basically all music videos fall in really these types of 3 categories.
These 3 categories or a mix of them. So now we're getting really deep into it. So a mix of these music videos would be a narrative performance video, right? Which is 90% of videos, I think. A guy's in a warehouse, he's got a gun, this and that, right? And he's like doing a bank robbery. Cut to the big atrium of the bank, beautiful lighting, performance shot with him performing in there. Cut back to the bank robbery. It's really just keeping the audience engaged, right? It's giving it more content and more oomph.
Yeah, exactly. You've shot too many of these videos.
A lot of hip hop videos. I think the things that are overused and it gets tiring, falling asleep, the music video happens, and then waking up at the end. Time and time again, a director will say, all right, but we got to remember to shoot at the end. The guy wakes up and it was all a dream. That way everything makes sense, right? I mean, I think it's just an easy in and an easy out to a video, right? So if someone messes up on anything, it's like, well, we'll just have them wake up and then that was that. It didn't make sense, but it's okay because it was a dream. First time it was done, cool. Second, third time, okay. But now it's like years later, right? A bunch of other kind of cliches are like, well, I shoot a lot of rap videos, so strip clubs, Lambos, house parties. It's just all these things that are continuously used over and over and over again. It's like you got these really talented directors and artists coming out with this content that has none of that involved, and they're the ones you're seeing kind of rise to the top. Another one that's actually very recent and new would be the whole shooting your video. It doesn't look that great, but we're gonna spice it up in post. We're gonna add a ton of effects, right? And we've watched some YouTube tutorials, and now we're gonna make this video insane, right? So it's cut up like crazy, like crazy cuts. Now another one is kind of like tracing lines, right? Like, so you're animating lines onto the footage and the line can like trace somebody. A guy named Rough Mercy started that. His work is amazing, but now people are taking it and they're not taking the time like he does to actually master the craft. They're just like learning it on YouTube and applying it. So it's like these single frame animations go on their footage. And it looks like crap.
This kind of stuff.
Yes.
This kind of stuff is so popular in advertising right now.
Popular, right? It's and so Rough Mercy is kind of like the
guy that invented this.
The guy that invented it. He did this, and now everybody, you know, some guy's like, oh, I know how to do this. Let's make a tutorial on it, right? So I think that's like another really bad effect that everybody's copying and no one's taking the time to do right. And if you decide to do that before you shoot, then it's a creative like idea, right? But if you go after your shoot and you're like, oh man, it doesn't look that great. What can we add to it? That's another thing that's really kind of destroying these videos. But then another one would be
adding in all these
taking
like,
a frame and scaling that frame down. I've been seeing that a lot. And they'll go like,
oh
right?
no, that's
it's just so cheesy, dude. And it's like, I think Final Cut 1 had that as like a preset transition. It's like, no.
I guess my question is really, when you see this many videos, like what separates the ones that take off and are like seen as like art?
I think it really starts with being an innovator. Finding a new way to show something is really refreshing, right? So if you're making a video and you're like, oh, I've seen all these ideas, I'm gonna do that idea. Your video's not gonna pop as much as, wow, that idea is cool, but what if I mix it with that idea and then add this camera movement, and then I make something unique that when I show people, they're gonna be like, I've never seen that before, right?
It's like the first video to put quasars in the background of a frame.
Yeah, no, seriously. I use Asteratubes a lot. So I am guilty of this, but use them in a new way, right? So now I'm doing stuff where I'm lining like hallways to where it looks like a spaceship, right? And the lights are flashing at me instead of just having them straight up in the background, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
A lot of people do.
Look, some of these videos that we're watching, obviously, you know, we're not asking you to make a Taylor Swift video or something.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
it takes a budget. They have full teams.
Those have the money to be able to polish a project,
and do it properly.
Right? Really polish it for hours and hours and hours to make that.
Yeah. But there are tons of videos out
pretty.
there. How do you know when this is going to be a solid video and this is not going to be a solid video? Yeah.
Not even talking about the video, the way that the treatment is laid out. If you get a treatment from someone and it's like made in Microsoft Word or PowerPoint and it like looks like shit, the idea is gonna be shit and it's gonna come out like shit. Then again, I get a treatment from a guy that I work with. Every treatment he gives me, he puts so much time in because it means that much to him, right? Because then it's like a slippery slope because you get that and then you start reading into it and all of a sudden, it starts with a guy falling asleep on his couch.
In terms of music videos where it's something that's so intensely visual and it's so about like one concept for a short period of time, it's like you better make sure that concept is fresh. Because if it's been done before, then the video is officially already old.
You've officially just started an aged video.
Well, let's watch a couple videos. What are like the takeaways from each video? What are you seeing here? All right, cool. Let's do this. Here we go. Now, before we dive into it, it's time to bring up today's sponsor, which is Storyblocks. If you haven't heard about them before, that's because you haven't seen enough Indie Mogul because they are a longtime sponsor. But let me introduce you to what should be your first stop when looking for B-roll on your next indie project to save some time and ensure that you get quality footage. Have you ever tried to get your own aerial shots of the Statue of Liberty or the pyramids? It can be an absolute nightmare to try to get all that footage through traditional legal means. Planning flights, insuring gear, getting locks for your bag, making sure your batteries are charged up. With Storyblocks, all you have to do is use the internet, which by now you should be good at. Storyblocks starts at $16.58 a month and for unlimited downloads, and all of them are royalty free, which means, yes, you don't have to worry about all those copyright complaints or anything like that. So stop spending your life savings trying to get your own stock footage. Head on over to storyblocks.com/IndieMogul to get a free trial. And now back to the video.
Oh yeah, I love this video.
This is a classic.
So Dave Meyers is a director. He shot a ton of Kendrick videos, consistently just solid on all levels. This church with this big light beaming through it, I've never seen that. And when I first saw this image, it like burned into my skull. I got goosebumps looking at that. That is an incredible image. So all of his videos have like these tiny little vignettes. Some dude's hair's on fire, or like he's using motion control to go from one thing to another thing. And so they took 3 cameras, put them right next to each other, same exact lens, and then they focused them all exactly with him centered. And then they're cutting back and forth every frame or every other frame. So I just got a new camera. It's called the Nishika, and it has 4 lenses. And then in post, you just do one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, and then you just make a GIF out of it. And it's really cool, That's like a really cheap way to do it. The camera's like $200 and you can literally make this effect. Another thing you really don't want to do in music videos is cater to the lyrics, but I feel like he does it in a tasteful way, right? And it's only like on 1 or 2 things. Catering to the lyrics is when your artist says, yeah, I drive a Lambo. And then you literally at the same time they say that, you show them driving a Lambo. Number 1 mistake a music video director can make.
It's just like listen to the lyrics.
It's like, come on, there's metaphors. Like think of some kind of metaphor to explain that rather than just showing that. But he's talking about Grey Poupon.
Hey, this that Grey Poupon, that AV on that TED.
So it's like, f it, throw it in there. It's funny.
Right?
Oh yeah.
I love this frame because this to me is such a great example of you don't need huge gear, huge budgets to make something visually amazing.
Right. You can make this effect happen with like 4 people.
Some of the most iconic shots and the shots that like burn into your eyes, not super expensive.
No.
You know, they didn't have to be for the indie guys out there.
Because they're new. There's something that no one's seen before, and that is really captivating.
Yeah. Moving on. Sounds good. So what is this video that we're talking about?
So this is from the same director as Hardcore Henry. So Hardcore Henry and his other film were shot on GoPros. This one, I read an article, he wanted it to be way more cinematic, obviously less like distortion. So they used the Kodak's Action Cam.
But strictly speaking, the camera is not the most high quality, best image rendering image period out there. This is not reliant on the camera that they're using.
Absolutely not. It's reliant on like 4 major things, right? First off, how well the story's put together, right? This entire video is shot like a 1 take, right? So already you're like, as a filmmaker, are drawn into it. It's got visual effects. It's got car chases, explosions.
Yeah. So for you, that's the thing that stands out the most is really just that one, it's something you haven't seen before.
Right.
And two, how much time did someone spend on this?
Seriously. Now this is an example of money.
Of an expensive video.
A very expensive video. You should always strive to make something that you can't. Because you might fall flat, but you're gonna learn way more than if you stayed in your lane.
What I'm saying is that don't try to copy something if you aren't sure that you can surpass it in the like greatness of it.
That goes back to what we were saying, right?
Yeah.
You copy this, they're gonna be like, oh, well, that's false alarm.
It's false alarm.
Like, we get it. That's the
cheap,
knockoff.
But you know, it's different if I think, you know, you're gonna do one take, you're gonna do like a space heist or something. You really think you have something you can add to this style.
When he looks at himself in the mirror at the end and there's no camera, it's like, love it.
All right, moving on. This video.
Here we
What
go.
is this video?
Turn down for what?
Nice. How do you know it immediately?
Because I've seen it a million trillion times and it's very inspiring. Back when I was in film school, they were showing this video as far as like experimental. This is a totally experimental narrative music video.
There's a version of this music video that just sucks. And it far surpasses exactly what the lyrics are about.
You know that this entire video was shot in one room?
What? So they just kept shooting?
Kept redressing the room.
You're kidding me. Oh my gosh.
So boom, same room. If you just pause it, like you can find little, like that door right there. That's that door. They just put a thing over it. Yeah, and then this is just like, what's the wildest shit we can do to make people go, what did I just watch, right?
You're saying there is a component there. There's a component too. There's a component too. In making music videos in the digital age, there's something to be said about WTF.
Yes. WTF will stick in your mind for years and years to come. Any OK Go video, those are all...
OK Go videos are like performance and experimental videos.
And I think those kind of videos are an excellent way to do something, and they'll stick around for a long time and maintain their validity, right? Because to this day, this video can hold up with any video. That's when you as like a director or a DP or someone actually start to pop. You got to step out of your comfort zone before you start to move forward. If you stay where you're comfortable or you stay where the company is comfortable, then you stay at that level. Pitch concepts that make people say, WTF, right?
What is this? So one of the things you can do is you can shoot like a test sample. Have you ever done that? Like shot a test sample of a visual effect?
Oh yeah. Depends on how much time you have for your pitch, but if there's this idea and you're like, this is the idea that needs to be for this video, do it. For Dave Meyers, for example, right? How are you gonna tell somebody about that weird trippy like effect? And that's also gonna help you out figuring out if you can actually do it, right? Because a lot of times I have an idea and I'm like, all right, cool. I get to set and I'm like, oh wait, maybe it's not gonna work out like I thought. Then you're screwed because now you got pressure.
Thing. I've actually never seen this one.
This is Bury a Friend.
So this one's directed by who?
Michael Chavez. They built this rig where they could mount the camera and her to an apparatus that spins both of them at the same time, right?
Whew, that is a visual.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy visual.
Build images like that. I can't. That doesn't leave my head.
Is there a way in which you can compose music videos where you think about it visual by visual?
But you got to think of it as like, there's 5 points in this video that are gonna hit hard. This is one. When she starts spinning, that's another. So create an image, storyboard it, draw it out.
You know, if a music video is composed of 3 to 5, 3 to 8 different sets and different looks, at least each of those looks will have like one killer visual.
Yes.
That the set is organized around.
Yes.
And I think that's something that separates a lot of the amateur stuff. The amateur stuff is just like, it's all this kind of like blah.
They don't think about like pulling back and showing this as its own standalone image.
And yeah, this is the killer shot.
This is the rig, yeah.
This is the shot that we're waiting to see, which is crazy.
Yes. How can you blow someone's mind? Can we put a mind-blowing emoji right here?
All right, what is this video?
Oh, Taylor Swift.
If anyone out there has any beef, you gotta respect someone that knows how to play the game in terms of just being known by everyone and she's literally the Rockefeller.
And then she gets together with Joseph Kahn.
Joseph Kahn is probably one of the biggest names in the game right now, just killing it. He did this video. They actually will do a full previs of the entire movie. So literally Taylor can be sitting there watching the entire video before they
And then she could be like, no, I think this should be different.
Before they shoot a single frame.
Yeah, that's so smart. I wish everyone can do that. Speaking of that, Cinema 4D is an incredible tool, basically a previs tool that I use to light my scenes before I actually get to set. Location scout, go into Cinema 4D, build the set, just how it looks, same measurements and everything.
You're talking about Matt Workman, cine
designer. He has all the lights in there from like Asteras to sky panels. You can put the light in, you can shine it through your window, you can see what beams it's gonna make, you can see where it's gonna hit.
So you're saying that you never do a video now without prevising it?
Absolutely, if I have time.
What is this video?
Oh, you're throwing me an oddball. Oh wow, does it keep going? Oh wow, they made them big.
No,
Holy
you're
crap,
kidding
this
me.
is an actual set that gets smaller and smaller as it goes down. It
Wait,
starts
really?
life size and then goes down.
So this is not post. This is not rotoed. This is a bunch of lookalikes.
That's awesome. Oh, he woke up at the end? Oh, God. Never mind, I don't care who it is now.
This is an awesome video, dude. What are you talking about?
That was pretty cool.
Please, that was very cool.
That's all right. Okay, so here's a video I really like. It's an artist called Rufus Du Sol. Song called Say a Prayer. Well, they start off slow. They're releasing new information, right? Which is really cool because it's keeping you engaged. But they have lasers. And so they strap these lasers in different positions in the forest and created these like shafts of light in the forest. So it's like a mystical. So these are Sharpies. These are lights like you would see on stage. They're pretty expensive and they have to come with an operator. And they're very strict about your talent because if your talent looks at them, they'll blind you. I mean, you can get them and like you can use lasers. You can use like party store lasers will work. I mean, they're not obviously gonna work the same, but it's what you do with them really, right? How many you have. I did a video for Veronica Vega featuring Quavo. This inspired me to do that video. And so there's these really cool art pieces that kind of surround Quavo's stage that they made him. I had a 900 watt laser on the left, a 900 watt laser on the right. And the cool thing about them coming with an operator is I was able to dial it in. See the set box on the right-hand side? I was able to dial it in so the laser just spun around that and kind of outlined that box. And then you sync your frame rate to the lasers.
Yeah.
You can actually, I didn't do it here because we wanted some movement with it, but you can actually make the lasers freeze in midair. So like this right here, I could just keep it like that instead of it moving. He has a little frequency thing on the laser control where as I was watching the monitor, he's like bringing it down and the laser's going faster and then it slowed down. And I was like right there.
What's something that's just starting to get popular that you've seen recently?
First one would be probably the lasers, right?
Yeah.
So lasers are really coming into fruition. A lot of live performances are using it, and I think it's carrying over into the music video world. And then the second thing would be, I think, lens effects. So lens effects are an extremely easy way to get an image in camera, right? Basically, you screw on filters that have effects already built in, right? So you could just screw it on your lens. It's like kaleidoscope effect. I use it in the Trippy Red video.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot because no one image is gonna be the same exact look.
It's a way to add visual character without actually having to do the exact same effect that somebody else did.
That's it.
Yeah.
As a filmmaker, it can be really taxing on like your pride when you spend all this time in pre-production and you make this incredible image and it gets 2,000 views on YouTube. That's gonna happen, but that's also okay because you're building your reel and these images.
At the end of the day, the number of eyeballs on the video, huge portion of it is the artist and how popular is the song.
Absolutely. And as much as it sucks, like you just gotta power through that kind of thing.
But next to nobody will see it.
Still showcases you as a filmmaker, right? So it's not like, oh, this artist isn't big, let's not try as hard. Kill it on everything, build that reel, get up to the bigger artists, then you get the numbers.
You shot this?
For example, I shot this video, Jojo Siwa, she's amazing, she's really cool. The video's whatever, right? It was not really much direction other than this girl's like at school and there's like this shy girl and these bullies and she kind of saves the bully, or saves the shy girl from the bullies. But it got 700 million views. Like what? I should have not taken a day rate on this video and just said, give me like a 0.5% of the YouTube revenue. But you never know. There's some of those things. Like it's also led me to 3 more videos for her, right?
Yeah. Never underestimate the power of an audience that's not you.
Yep. You should put that on a poster or something.
Anyways.
The video I'm most proud of is the Mamacita video for Tyga featuring YG. Tyga actually rode my Harley in the video.
What a dweeb.
He also crashed it. Tyga gets to this place, meets up with this girl. Danny Trejo comes in. I guess it's her ex-husband or something. A brawl breaks out. Danny Trejo gets a chair snapped over his back. Funny story, Danny Trejo actually told me how to shoot a couple shots in here. Because I was gonna shoot him a different way and then I was thinking about it and he's like, no, you want the camera here. And I was like, hold on. He's like, no, shut up. You want the camera here. And I was like,
you don't say no.
He said that.
Happens. You don't say no
that's
when that
Danny
happens.
Trejo. I literally, I bowed down to him and I said, you know what? You were completely right. This guy gets thrown over the bar. Boom. So another story, the diopters I called for never showed up. So we had to send a runner to like a Walgreens to get a magnifying glass. And the only way that I could get those shots of him playing is if we sent somebody to go get a magnifying glass and tape it to the lens.
You're kidding me.
Done, and it worked and it looked
It
amazing.
worked and it looks good.
I want to thank Storyblocks just one more time. Don't forget that you can save a ton of time and money just like we do every day by heading over to storyblocks.com/IndieMobile. We actually put a link in the description down below for a free trial to get started. on your stock footage journey.
Alrighty, Justin, thanks so much for joining us
Dude,
out here.
absolutely,
For
man.
people that have questions that want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
On Instagram at JustinJonesDP.
Before we go, guess what? We have merch, because not only can you rep the channel, but you can also help us out in the process, and you can look great by doing so in some classic designs. And oh, keep an eye on the shelf down below this video, because we may be adding some new designs. The holiday season's coming up, like this one, and this one.
Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And of course, we'll catch you guys next time.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
Oh yeah, don't suck.
Okay, ready?
Is that good?
Sounds good. Alrighty.